Hi, and welcome back to our weekly discussion of our mission in this world as mankind in general and as Jews in particular, as we learn from the 5 books of Moses from the Torah. This week, we're going to be continuing our discussion from the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, in a portion, or parsha, called Kisavo. In this parsha, Moses is concluding his farewell address to the people. He's also completing his reviews of all of the commandments that the Jews have been given over the years, their details, their implications, and so on. We also see in this parsha a strong theme of how did they get to where they are today, and what does that mean in terms of their mission. So let's take a look. In the very beginning of the parsha, it's talking about a ritual which won't happen until the Jews go into the land of Egypt and until there's a temple. And at that time, when one experiences his first fruits, he's going to bring them to the temple and he's going to say a certain blessing. Part of that blessing is shown here, and it says you're going to call out and you're going to say to the Lord your God, an Aramean sought to destroy my father, that's Jacob, Vayered Mitzrayma, and he went down to Egypt, and he went there, and as we all know, uh, his people, the ancestors of all Jews, became enslaved for hundreds of years. Now, the question here is, what does this have to do with the blessings of the first fruits? Why are we reciting ancient history here? What does Jacob going down to Egypt have to do with any of this? So the Rav makes a very important point. He points out that we could not have become the people we are without having experienced hundreds of years in the crucible of slavery in Egypt. Only after that experience are we able to understand true justice, true injustice, cruelty, immorality. Furthermore, what other nation has God picked and paid so much attention to in this way to purify us, so to speak, through this experience, and then to He Himself redeeming us? So from the beginning, we see that we're on a very different path from the rest of the world. But an interesting question. Did God just choose us and say, that's it, you're it, now go forth? So we know at Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai, we were presented with the Torah, with the commandments. And of course, we know, we said, listen, we'll do them and we'll also listen to them. But was that it? Or did we actually also make a choice? It seems like we actually chose God as well. If we go down just a few more verses, you'll see it said, Et Hashem ha'emartach hayom layot lacha lalokim lalechet bidrachav. So a lot's packed into this one little verse. First of all, it says, you, meaning you, the Jews, have selected Hashem. So you made the selection. And when did you select him? Today. Why today? Because as we said, today was the day when Moses has finished explaining everything. He's explained the laws and the statutes. And the people said, okay, we understand, we accept, we choose this. This is what we want. What are we going to do? We're going to walk in his ways. We've seen this come up multiple times before, to walk in his ways. So what does this mean? It means that, as we've said many times, we imitate Hashem. And what are we trying to imitate? What does Hashem do that we want to imitate? So there are many midos, many characteristics of Hashem that we would like to imitate, but one of the greatest is perhaps the creativity. Hashem can create something out of nothing. Now, of course, we don't have the ability to create something out of nothing, but we can be creative. What can we create? We can create spirituality where maybe it didn't exist before. For example, we can use an inanimate object for a spiritual purpose. We can help somebody who maybe is not as spiritual as they could be become more spiritual. We can bring a light unto the whole world. Thus, we see that our mission, in part at least, is to be creative and to bring spirituality into the world, as we've mentioned before. So, in summary, we were not only selected by Hashem, we also selected Hashem himself. And what does that selection mean? That says we want to walk in his ways. And what does walking in Hashem's ways mean? That means we want to imitate Hashem. We want to be like Hashem in any way that we can. What's one of the ways? We can be creative. And what can we create? We can create spirituality, among other things. So I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. If you have, please like, please subscribe, and may we all realize our mission to its completeness. May it be speedily happen in our days, Besoros Tovos, and the Shabbat Shalom.